Welcome back to the Convo Couch, everyone. I am Pasta Jardula.
And I'm Fiorella.
And Johnny Sue is still spinning on those ones and twos. And today it is Gabriel Ramirez, our fam. First to the party at Facebook.
Oh, wow.
Way to go, Gabe.
What a fam.
We love you, fam, Gabe. We love Matthew Savella. We love Stephen Wilbrand, Stevie W. A la Dub, Steve Dub on the MCSC network. On the YouTubes, we got you guys rocking as well. Thank you so much. And over on the Convo Couch YouTube, we got 31. Kind of slow lately, guys. They're not hitting the bell for a lot of people. They're not shaking it. Jason V was first in the YouTube today. Jason V, we love you. He even called it. He said first. But then comes Aurelius Prime, Rocket Peel, and Frederick Murphy. How you doing, Frederick Murphy? What's up, peeps? He says, we love you, Frederick. Always hanging around the Convo Couch. We got a good show for you today. We're going to start off with one of the best candidates out there, Tulsi Gabbard, who will not be attending the debates, which we're still trying to figure out what's going on with the debates. There's been some rumors and chuckles, and we haven't seen any confirmation that they might have settled the strike.
I know that people are planning on going there, like burners are planning on going there to like pretty much stand with the union workers.
To do what Bernie do.
To do what Bernie does. That's
to do what Bernie do, because Bernie always does that. He's been doing that. That's why when you talk all this stuff, you know what I'm saying? Listen, I'm sure he's got his faults. There's a lot of things that people aren't completely happy and on board with, but Bernie's been doing this for a long time. I'm not going to doubt the man's integrity. I'm not going to doubt the man's character. I'm just going to continue to hope to push him further to the left. And I think there's some people who have his ear now might not have his ear in the future. You know, it's very common for somebody to go with somebody and then halfway down the road pull the Bernie and go, hold on, we need a change.
Bernie will do what needs to be done, and the people will be there to support him no matter what, and they will help usher in the movement and the grassroots forward. So yeah, I'm very confident of that.
But I want people to understand that and I think they can't get out of this. It's, all these activists and all these people on the left, we're on the left. There's a whole bunch of people who are going to be voting, and we need to get them. We can't do without them.
We need to bring people together.
Yes, we do. So we have to find the commonality, hold our noses despite our differences, and come together and really form a real progressive change. So, and that includes Bernie, too, as well. He's going to have to make that decision. Yeah. We all know one of the biggest decisions for Hillary Clinton was when she chose Tim Kaine. Because that was the end. That was like, okay, you don't give a flying fudge about us whatsoever, that you're going to pick somebody more conservative than you. So, I mean.
Yeah. And, I mean, that's a debate that is, should be had. Like, how much do we give in, right? It's the whole bipartisanship thing, right? There's a difference between bipartisanship and nonpartisanship. That doesn't mean you give in to, let's say, white supremacy, but you also don't assume that everybody is a white supremacist. So it's a fine line, and we have to be able to kind of work it.
Yeah, I mean, because you got a lot of people out there with that tough love mentality that you might think is really bad because you lack compassion. You know what I'm saying? Don't get me wrong. There's a shit line where people are just plain out fucking racist, and they're out there. Hillary Clinton was calling some people deplorables. There are deplorables, but guess what? There's deplorables in a different way on the left as well. So I mean, we have to. We can't just lump everybody together. We have to get in there. We're going to have to find where we have some commonality, and we're going to have to get this thing done. But let's talk about somebody who is kind of talking about the point where it's really separating the country. It's polarizing the country, this particular friggin' impeachment. So what happened, fam?
So Tulsi decided that she was going to censure Trump, and I think there's a little video.
Yes, there's a video there.
Well, but you want to look at the tweet first.
The tweet I think I put up right over there.
Perfect.
Because it's kind of... No, I didn't. My bad. But the tweet was pretty much she was at Furman College, and she said the other day that she is undecided on impeachment.
It's right here.
Okay?
You want to read it?
It says, I haven't decided yet. This is whenever you think about the impeachment process, whenever your political alliances lie impeaching a sitting president. In the words of Joe Biden, it's a big effing deal. Well, I wish you didn't quote Joe Biden, but I think it was famous because Joe Biden had a hot mic and didn't realize it when he said to Obama right before they're about to sign the ACA, this is a big fucking deal. Yeah. This is no malarkey here. This is a big deal. I mean, furthermore, you said some stuff over here, too, with the article right now, right? With censorship.
Right. So she talks about, I'm taking this time to for myself to be able to review everything that's happened, all the information that's been put forward. A typical Tulsi answer. This is how she is about everything. At least she's consistent. This is what Gabbard told at a crowd at Furman Universities in Greenville, South Carolina on Monday, yesterday, and just all the factors that go into really trying to figure out what's the best action to take for our country and for democracy. It's not a simple decision to make. So.
No. I mean, she's so good about this stuff. I remember calling somebody in the campaign once. I'm like, hey, can I get an answer on so-and-so? And she's like, listen, you'll probably get the answer before we do, because when Tulsi makes up her mind, she makes her own decisions. She lets people know. It's not like she's going to politically play stuff, but she takes the time sometimes to do the homework. When it came to Bolivia, to do the homework. And now she's doing the homework here. Like I said before, I thought she was the only adult in the room. There were a couple other adults as we went farther down the road in this process to say no to this impeachment, because what it's about, where it's about, the Ukraine situation. So I'm hoping, fam, that she does what you suggested. Abstain courteously.
Yeah, I think abstaining is best, because here's the thing, Pasta, strategically, if she says no, I think that's going to be another whole wave of like, oh, you side with Republicans. Oh, you side with blah, blah, blah. And I don't think she has much to lose, because those people aren't really going to support her in the first place. Yeah. But I still think, you have to pick your battles, and sometimes it's not worth this especially isn't worth a battle. I understand that the impeachment process is the reason Trump is being impeached is completely invalid. But we can impeach him on other things. And I think if she makes that clear, that'll be really good for her, if she can make that very clear.
That's the emoluments clause we talk about. But once again, fam, that's still even tough, too, as well, because I started looking at this. Somebody said, well, why do we have to start with Trump with the emoluments? They've been doing this since back with Dick Cheney. You got the Afghan papers when he started handing over companies to his sons and his children and all this shit. And then they became one of the biggest defense contractors because we were charging $96 for a Coke, the American tax dollar.
I mean, it's also but he could be the one that can set the precedent. For instance, they could have impeached him on Venezuela on trying to do that. And it's because it's very clear what happened, right? But again, they could go back and say, oh, we could have impeached ex-president on this too, because this is what the United States have been doing. Well, I don't think people are going to be opposed to making him the example. At least people on the left are going to be opposed to that. And nobody's going to really go save him. But I think, especially under these circumstances, to say yes on impeachment, and a lot of people disagree with us on this issue. Yeah. It's pretty the majority of the left is pro impeachment, and the majority of the right is anti impeachment, and that's really not what it is. I'm not against impeaching Trump. I don't think he's an innocent lamb. I think he's done a lot of damage, but I think as far as this particular issue, it just shows a hypocrisy of the Democratic Party. It just shows that they're not taking any accountability on anything. So.
Yeah, and we're not really talking about what really happened in Ukraine, are we? Nope, we're not talking about the bloody regime that was sponsored by the West, people dying, how Ukraine's one of the most poorest freaking countries in the world now. We're not talking about that. No, we're not talking about the contracts that we're sitting here and acting like it never happened, Joe Biden. Nancy Pelosi's son, Paul Pelosi, getting out. We're not talking about any of that stuff. We're talking about a friggin' phone call, fam. Let's move on, because that stuff will just kind of get me up. Let's talk about somebody we can enjoy hating on together and feel good about it, and that's that sociopath, PDB.
Right. So, you guys, Pete Buttigieg held a ridiculously elitist fundraiser, and it was in a bat cave. It was in a famous little bat cave. And then the Bernie campaign trolled him about this. So the photos that we have here are of him in Napa in this infamous wine cave, and the chandelier that had 1,500 Swarovski crystals. Look at that luxury.
Bruce Wayne was renting out his house for an event.
I mean, yeah, they should just put Batman in there somehow, and look at just the luxury. I'm sure remember when Pete Buttigieg at the KDM was I talked about his fundraisers, and he goes, oh yeah, there's a nice mix of progressives, moderates, all people from all, and it's no, you really think that there's a guy that donated $3 to his campaign there? Do you really think they could afford to go there? Yeah. And this is his initial ad.
Oh, I love these things, fam.
It doesn't say how much it costs because we know it costs money, but it just says an evening in the vineyards
Napa
with
Valley.
Mayor Pete. And Napa is one of the most pretentious freaking places. I'm a wine person. I love wine, and I've talked to many wine lovers, and a lot of them who are really down to earth tell me Napa is just horrible. People are so pretentious. It's so overrated. And of course he's there. Of course. It just fits.
Well, let me just say this much. Napa's not that bad because Napa has for us, because if we go there, all the workers are all top notch, all the waiters and the bartenders, they know everything about what's going on. So they recognize restaurant people and they're like, oh, what's going on? And they really bond then. And you can get into some good wines. At least they do care about the business out there, the workers out in Napa, because I want to give the love to the workers. Now, the people, they're pretentious, snotty shit. Out there. You better believe. Oh, I have my Opus 1 1997. Jonathan, would you like to have it with some Aki tonight?
Yes, I mean, I don't like generalizations, but honestly, that's been people's experience. And so the Bernie campaign did something hilarious. First, they sent an email saying, "Can you help me match Pete's Wine Cave fundraiser?" And they sent an email saying, "Last week, Pete Buttigieg held a fundraiser in a wine cave," and blah blah blah. I am not entirely sure what happens when people pay huge sums of money to have dinner with a candidate at a wine cave with 1,500 crystals, but I would guess they're not talking about standing up to the greed of the billionaire class of this country. Blah, 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 so donate to us, etc. But then they took it up another step and they went and they completely bought the domain name for, Pete'sWineCave.com. And if you go, Johnny, I don't know if you can do it, but if you go to Pete'sWineCave.com, you're going to see where it leads you to. And it's hilarious.
Well, at least they know all that money they can contribute. It goes right to Bernie's page. That's great. Just link it right there.
Freaking hilarious. And so, yeah, there's just this whole article on how they did that and they
reported
smart. About it. And,
that's smart,
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Hey, Bernie's campaign pulls a great move. Good for them.
I mean, that was pretty savage.
I think people have to start taking from this the fact that you have to understand this. This is true. Our democracy is for sale. Plain and simple. So all these people are doing, the reason why they're donating to Pete Buttigieg is not because they think he's a swell guy or he'll fight for the right policies. They'll fight for the right policies for them that will help their financial situations. Anyway, they can get tax breaks or a business friendly laws that are signed into place. And there's a lot of things that happen to go all the way to the top when it comes to business. Ask Bolsonaro and Donald Trump or in the Golan Heights or in Saudi Arabia. The leader of the free world can help a lot of people when it comes to their finances. So that's what this is about. They're buying influence, and Pete Buttigieg is for sale. He's not a progressive. He's a spook. We have to also talk about that too. Yeah. It's time for Pete to go. Can we buy the domain Just Go Pete? Or Pete leave, Pete leave, something.
We should, fam. Did you want to?
Oh yeah, let's say hi to some people on the thing. Is there any super chat contributions? No, not yet. All right. Just want to say thank you to some people on the MCSC network for joining on in. On the YouTube, Jonathan Ludo, Holly Holm, Upstate Raider, Christy Hansen. Thank you so much, Cam Schwari, Kate. We love you. Frederick Murphy's still hanging out. And yes, we got 116 watching. It is climbing. Let it climb. Let it climb. Let it climb. Also on the MCSC network, we have, that's Nico House. So let me go to something else. On the Facebook, Franklin Ooh says Tulsi will be the next president. I so hope so. He's got a long thing going there. Amber Lee, we love you as well. Daisy Chacon, Michael Strategakis, Armin Manugian, Matt Ingalls, Carl Hines, Sean Soblowski.
Carl, Fifi knows best. Remember that.
Fifi knows best. She does. Thank you for hanging out, Lynn Farmer, as well. Fam, next topic.
Fam, so Bernie continues to close the gap with Biden. There's the difference in polling points between Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders has reduced increasingly since June. And so we can see here that, I didn't put it up, but we can see that the Bernie Sanders from June 24th had to Joe Biden had a 16.9 lead of a difference. Joe Biden had a 16.9 lead. And then today that shortened to 8.2.
So that's the lead each time. That was almost a
That's the
17-point lead, a 14-point lead, a 12-point lead, a 9-point lead, a 9-point lead.
Exactly.
So it's almost like Secretary turning for home, coming back. The horse down the backstretch is the strong horse. It's he who finishes last.
That's what I feel like Bernie is. He's not.
He's a strong closer.
He's like gonna close strong. He's not. They're always second guessing him. He
stumbles out of the gate.
He takes out of. He takes his time, but then he hits it. And so, undeniably, and these are the polls that are biased already. I don't really. We really don't look at polls like the end all be all, because we know that they were completely incorrect in 2016. But what we're looking at now is that even with these numbers, we can probably estimate that Bernie's support is even bigger than what this says, because they're not polling young people, they're not polling independents, they're not polling new voters, they're polling people who are have landlines, they're polling older voters. So this is probably not even accurate. Bernie's probably actually the front runner, and we've seen also in state after state like New Hampshire, Iowa now, which is the next thing. Iowa, it's he's surging in there. And of course, you can go to Real Clear Politics and do the math. You kind of have to do the math and take the averages, and then you will come to that conclusion. But Bernie is also surging ahead in Iowa, and Iowa is
important.
A very important state to set the precedent for what's going to happen. And he's rising here as well. We know he was rising in New Hampshire, but ahead of Thursday's debate in Los Angeles, which may not be happening, Sanders is rising. And now the media are taking notice too, as you guys saw on yesterday's show, how they're saying they can't even deny that he's actually on the rise. And let me see if there's
Which I don't believe he's going to lose Iowa anyways. Last time, as you find in that chart, when he came, it came down to a coin flip pretty much for him and Hillary Clinton. Remember?
Yeah.
They were talking about that. It was so close. Mm-hmm. And, he got out there, and then he went on to New Hampshire, which is his area, and pounded her. So, I think this time around, I think Bernie wins Iowa. But, that's just my personal opinion.
No, I 100% agree with you. And they talk about his event, which is important to point out, that in Ottumwa, Iowa, drew 200 people on Sunday during a snowstorm. And I remember that there was talk of people, we would have gone, but there was a snowstorm. So even in a snowstorm, Bernie's drawing over 100 people. And now you have to look at Iowa. It's not California. It's not Queens, New York. It's a smaller place. Same with New Hampshire. I think there was a picture tweeted about New Hampshire having like almost 2,000 people, and that was one of their biggest rallies because it's New Hampshire. New Hampshire's like the size of freaking smaller than LA. County. And so so he's rising in Iowa, and I'm not sure where it's, but he's rising in Iowa, he's rising in New Hampshire, he's rising in Nevada, and that is undeniable. So I think people, the establishment has a choice here, because they have the choice to say, okay, we see what's happening here. Let's embrace it. Let's back Bernie Sanders, and and then just have him go after Trump, and we'll see what happens. We'll see there.
Interesting.
I don't buy that they're going to do
that.
I
really am eager to get over to Iowa, because Iowa's one of those cities that can be interesting, because I often wonder about Elizabeth Warren.
Yeah.
Because I see her stumbling out of Iowa. I see Tulsi rising over there. Because while all these Democrats are battling for the Democrats, there's this whole military vote. There's a lot of, grass-fed and cornbread, how do you ever say it? The heart of Iowa, the salt of the earth. These people, a lot of military personnel that are going to go for Tulsi, where she can get in the top 5. So I'm really eager to see if she can get in the top 5. But it's Elizabeth Warren I'm worrying about. If she stumbles out of Iowa, then goes to New Hampshire and gets pounded, what's next? When do we lose hope? Same thing for Pete Buttigieg. If he underperforms, Pete Buttigieg is hoping for a big boost in Iowa.
Yeah,
he really is. A lot of white people. He thinks he's going to get a lot of votes. Well, seriously.
No, yeah.
You got to play this strategically. He's hoping for a big boost out of Iowa.
Yep.
It really could be the place where people live or die, how they get out of the gate, because after New Hampshire, and especially with California being moved up, everybody's going to determine that. You're going to see so many people drop out. 2 or 3 people will drop out after California.
Yeah.
I don't know if Cory Booker or Amy Klobuchar will make it that far.
Yeah,
but after California, it's going to drop out. But a lot of it is going to be decided on what happens in Iowa and New Hampshire. If you underperform in Iowa, that could be
I think Bernie Sanders can easily take New Hampshire. I think Tulsi is going to overperform more than people expect, actually, because there are a lot of independent and libertarian-minded people in New Hampshire. I think she has actually a lot more potential than people are actually giving her credit, and we'll see that. I think
top
Buttigieg, she's top five.
If she gets top five, that's what she needs.
I don't think. I mean, I think Warren has something there, but it's probably I know it's declined. We've talked about how Warren's numbers have declined, and it's going to continue that way. I think Warren is pretty much done if she
doesn't do good.
Yeah.
And like you said, 25% of the people, most of the Democrats are for impeachment. Republicans are against it. That's only 52% of the electorate. You have that 48% out there that is just picking up. You're just crawling and you're looking for votes because.
And the establishment, either way, they're going to select one of their candidates to go against Bernie. So you have to also think about when one drops out, where those votes are going to be pushed. To. So
it's going to be interesting, and it's just getting started, and I can barely wait. Tom Teo, he just joined. Thank you, Tom Teo. I don't know if you're just being coming here and saying stuff still. Steve Wilbrand, Amber Lee Gregorio, Art Webb, thank you so much. I mean, seriously, it's freaking Dolores Pierce, Franklin Ooh. You are all hanging out on the Convo Couch Facebook. We appreciate it. I don't have up the MCSC network. I'm so sorry, guys. Okay, but Danny O'Brien, he has a Super Chat contribution. Thank you, Danny O'Brien, for the Super Chat contribution, as it is always appreciated on the couch. Buttigieg might be a deep state plant. Love you too.
No, he absolutely.
He is. Guys, he is. First of all, he's a sociopath, okay? He believes in his bullshit lies. Secondly, and thank you very much for the Super Chat from Sir Michael Lafreniere. Didn't say anything, but if you want to say anything,
I make Pasta say all the names because he's going to mispronounce all of them.
Daddy Gad, thank you for the Super Chat contribution. I'm worried Trump's going to win again. Well, you're not the only one worried. We're worried really hard over here because the Democrats seem to be handing this thing over to Donald Trump with all their moves. So
I mean, you saw what happened in England, right? The Labour Party, they knew that they were doing this to Jeremy Corbyn to themselves, and they'd rather have a terrible Trump-like guy.
Boris Johnson, yeah.
But
I mean, and that's the thing. They didn't represent the people. The people of the North, the Northern workers went away from the Labor Party because they felt they just didn't connect with them anymore. So Labor has a lot of issues. They're going to have their own civil war going on. We thought it was settled. But once again, Jeremy Corbyn was indecisive about Brexit. He was indecisive about certain things. He didn't look like a strong leader. This is where I think Bernie Sanders is exceeding Jeremy Corbyn. Bernie Sanders looks like a strong leader. So, but once again, I said this all the time. I'm not saying this because I love Tulsi or whatnot. That's a base. That's people that are going to take directly away from Donald Trump.
Yeah.
If you want to win this thing, you have to take those group of people. And those people on the left who say, we don't need those guys, they don't think like us, they're not like that, you better change your tune.
You're not going to win an election by thinking like that. So didn't Tulsi recently talk to, what's his name, this right-winger who is known as a white supremacist, and she went on his show and she said, we may not agree on a lot of things, but we hold our our American values, and people were really upset about that because they're saying, oh, like she's, this is a white supremacist, etc.
Yeah. Well,
why are you talking to him? And I think again, that's a line. I'm not saying, that you have to discard that, but also she is in a way on these shows to kind of get the truth out and get these people to come to her side. And those are votes, say she goes and says and drops out eventually. Who knows, if she does, then those votes could potentially go to someone like Bernie Sanders if the relationships are good. But if the relationships aren't,
Yeah. Well, I mean, she got shit for going on Tucker Carlson.
I mean, she gets...
Tucker Carlson's a white supremacist. I'm like, guys, I'm not getting there. I know you got issues with Tucker, and Tucker said some shit in the past I don't agree with.
No, Tucker Carlson is pretty bad. I disagree with Pasa here. I think Tucker Carlson
is not a white
awful.
supremacist. He's not a Nazi. So I'm not... He's not a white supremacist. He's not a Nazi.
He has said things that are white supremacist-like. I agree he has.
You can bring those up. We can debate those. I think those are wrong issues. I think they was wrong, but I don't think he's close to being a white supremacist or a Nazi at all. Tucker Carlson is not. That's just my personal opinion.
I disagree. I think he absolutely is, but I think that I don't really think that it's wrong for her to go on the show because I believe that she can speak her message and get a point across.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you guys think? Because the comments I've heard from him are definitely racist. And do I think he might be weaponizing that because he's on Fox News and he has to do that? Absolutely. Absolutely.
You know what? We should dig into that, and we should go over that, what Tucker did, and we can kind of weigh the facts. But also, too, once again, when we talk about the situation, it's like, but on the left, these Democrats, these guys were the most racist people on the face of the earth when they were going about their imperialistic ways. When you talk about Obama with Syria, Libya, there's a slave trade in Libya, so maybe he might have been nice, but his actions really didn't help people of color and indigenous people too. So we have to keep that in mind. Flying Boyer, is that Boyer? Boer, Boer, Flying Boer. You guys think Cenk will make it for Congress? Make it for Congress seat?
I don't.
You don't think so?
No, it's not anything to do with me liking him or not. I think that district is heavily favored for Christy Smith. She's of the district. She has a lot of people on the ground. They trust her. She's not a progressive. She's a neoliberal. She's as neoliberal as it gets. I mean, all you have to do is look at her FEC. She's horrible.
Yeah.
He would definitely be the better candidate, but I don't really think he's got a shot.
He's also getting a lot of flack out here for carpetbagging, meaning he just rented a house out there or something. He hadn't lived in a district for a long time.
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong. He's lived in L.A. for a long time. He's lived in that area.
But
so
not that
particular district.
And people care about that stuff.
I want to run against Adam Smith.
Schiff.
But his district is like 2 blocks down that way. But we heard there might be a candidate running for him. I'm going to take a look. Maybe a girl. I think she's running. And I'm going to try to contact. Next month, we have candidate month, and we are lining up some great candidates. And yeah, we're going to start it off with Seema Hernandez, January 7th at 1 p.m. But we're going to have a whole list and talk about that. Flying Bear again says, Tulsi went on Breitbart, and it's not white supremacy sites. I had a friend of ours who wrote for an article on Breitbart. So once again, you know what I'm saying? I know she's not a racist. I know she's not a...
Breitbart is pretty right-wing, though.
It's right-wing, but it's changed over the years, and it's had some, once again, the areas where the right could be right, and a lot of it is non-interventionist in war and libertarian-minded people who don't want to get involved. They write on Breitbart, and they got some interesting things to say. So I'm not going to just execute them and let them out. So what else we got over here? Oh, what's he say? Is a super chat? Did I miss it? Where? Daddy... I read those, didn't I? Yeah, he might be a deep state plant. No. Before that. I'm worried Trump's going to win again. Yes. I read that.
You did.
Sarah Michael Lafreniere. There's nothing there. Just $20. Thank you so much for the super chat contribution.
We appreciate you.
Yeah, we appreciate you. We got it all, right?
Yep.
Yeah, we got it all.
Yep.
All right, so, fam. Anything else to add to this? Because we're going to talk about what's going on in the news real quick. Mm-hmm. Yesterday, I saw an article. I watched it last night. Guys, this is amazing. If you get a chance, on the Intercept on YouTube, there is a interview between Evo Morales and Glenn Greenwald. You know when Glenn Greenwald does this stuff. Remember I brought that out, the Lula stuff? And he was, and it was actually awesome because he was speaking Portuguese with Lula, you know what I'm saying? In this particular situation, he didn't, but they lit the room well. They got like this white background, very, very clear. You could see the charisma of Evo Morales, his eyes, whatnot. But I didn't know he was also, too, in the police. He was a policeman, too, as well. He served a military term and police term. But they talked about how this coup took place. They talked about how the change of powers, what was really going on. Evo believes more than anything, this was the fight for the lithium. That's what he believes. He left America out on the stage. He opened up a contract to everybody, forbidding. China won the majority of contracts. Europe got some. And the United States was like, hell no. So they started this coup, and they talked about all the facets of the coup with Camacho, part of that one group, how he got people in line, how the military turned first with their American connections, and then therefore they got the police department to turn, and at that point he had to leave. But it's a great interview, guys. It's 40 minutes, but it's complete. What do you say? Nom, 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 the whole time, like, oh, this is so awesome. Because Glenn asked these very simple questions, but they're very detailed about what you want to know, and it's so intriguing. So if you get the time, go ahead, watch this video, fam. It is amazing. You won't be sad. I watched it last night, 40 minutes. What is this guy saying again in here?
Did you want to play it?
Gotcha. No, that's it. I just want to talk about that real quick. Sorry. So, Anything about the Evo situation with as far as what's going on, the lithium? He's still hanging out in Mexico. So
yeah. Yeah. No, they're just continuing to drive Bolivia into economic despair. It's going to right now what's happening is Bolivia is just sinking further and further from all the progress that was made, and it's all because of US interventionism and supporting regime change. A coup. Well, that's what we do.
This is what it's like when they get the microphone over here for these people. If you want to talk about, you want to waste time about impeachment and stuff going on, you'll see it. Everybody's talking about impeachment. Everybody's going over impeachment. But if you want to talk about the Afghani papers, no, there's no microphone for that. We showed a whole film on that. So we talked about it. John, if you want to throw up that picture real quick, that meme. Here it is. This is America in a nutshell. We spent billions of dollars. Lives have been lost. 19-year war. Mm-hmm. American men coming home, killing themselves to PTSD. Nobody wants to hear about it. Nobody's talking about it. Everybody's still talking about a phone call, fam. Mm-hmm. This is where we're at.
It's a circus. I'm not interested in that sort of thing right now. So I just think it's a waste of time. I think it's awful to have that during an election year. And there's so much we should be focusing on, and we're not focused on that. And the fact that it could take Bernie Sanders away from campaigning, that is ridiculous to me. That makes me more angry than anything else. Like, what are we doing here? You want to get rid of Trump? Freaking elect Bernie Sanders. All those people that are so adamant about impeachment aren't going to vote for Bernie Sanders. And that to me just tells me that they don't care about getting rid of Trump. They just care about having their show and making themselves look better. That's it.
We have a question here from a super chat contribution from Jan3 Sobieski. I want to say the name right. Sobieski. It's a nice name. Do you support gun confiscation by National Guard going door to door and taking guns in Virginia if it comes to that? I highly doubt that it will ever come to that, whatnot. No. Yeah, the only thing I believe in is common sense gun regulations, okay? I believe everybody has the right to bear arms to protect yourself.
Well, especially when the police and the military are so heavily armed, especially the police.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong, but here's the thing I want to eliminate right off the bat. The first thing I would do is the gun club loophole. That's one thing. That's the biggest issue when it comes to guns, because you have all these gun shows that go through Nevada, they go down through Texas, whatnot. You don't need to wait for a license. There's a loophole. You could just go buy a gun and walk out with it, a semi-automatic rifle. So what happens is the cartel sends their guys up there. They give somebody, say, hey, listen, I need you to get me 10 automatic rifles, and I'm going to give you $10,000 for doing so. You need to pay bills. You need to put money on the table, right? So you're going to go in there, you're going to buy the guns, give them over, and get that money. Okay, and that's easy, accessible guns that go down to Mexico, and they're killing each other with it. So that's one area, and then that's another area where a person who might not be of sound mind can get a gun and go kill some people. Yeah. So once again, I am not a big, I'm not one of those big, like, as far as the semi-automatic weapon, assault rifles? Mm-hmm. That's a conversation that needs to be had, okay? Because now I'm understanding, because my gun friends are telling me, well, what defines an assault rifle? You know what I'm saying? There's that whole conversation there. So I'd like to know more about it. I have some friends over the years that are liberal, progressive as can be, that believe in guns. Mike, Killer Mike, right? He's like, we're a gun-owning family. As long as the police has guns, we're gonna have guns.
That's the thing, especially when you're black. What I would do is I would demilitarize the police. I would absolutely take away all these weapons that they have, because if you look at Europe and the rest of the world, they don't have that. They don't have that, and they do just fine. I would also advocate sensible gun legislation, as he's saying, more of like an inability to get a gun if you have mental issues. And it's so much easier to get a gun right now if you it's so much easier than to get your license to get a gun.
To get your driver's license.
It's ridiculous. And so I think we need some legislation. I'm not for getting rid of all guns, because I think that's unrealistic. I'm not a fan of guns, but I'm also not going to take a person's ability to have one under a heavily militarized state. We are a police state, and if those people are going to have guns, then of course, we all should have the right to bear arms, especially if you don't trust the government. I understand why people want to own guns, because they don't trust the government. I also advocate in training people. Once you have a gun, you have to take classes into how to use it, because some people don't know how to use it, and you also need to prove that you are storing it properly, especially if you have children.
Yeah.
I've met plenty of military people that have guns and they own them, but they are extremely cautious with their guns and they lock them away in a safe. And they are very, I was talking to Republicans and we agreed on having classes for people who own a gun, that you have to go through a process where you have to know how to use your gun and you practice safe gun ownership. And that is one thing we agree on. I think what happens is people assume that if you're, you want sensible gun legislation, that just means that you're for getting rid of all guns. And the debate never gets anywhere because people are just so like one side or the other. And that's not where we're going to find a solution.
Yeah, I mean, you said it right on the nose, whatnot. And I think at the end of the day, like you said, I'm not a gun fan either. I don't own guns. I really don't fire guns. But if somebody has the right to a gun, but once again, too, fam, I want to say this too much. Like a lot of these mass killings, whatnot, and everything, they come from economic despair. It's just a whole chain of like, you have no money, you have no job, you feel helpless, you're just pissed off, you get pinned against the guy who looks differently across the street from you, and one thing leads to another. Now the ideology takes place, and now you go out killing people. But once again, less economic despair, more education, more opportunities will lead to people just saying, that's it. Because most of these kills, what do? They kill everybody, then they kill themselves. You know what I'm saying? And they feel like a nobody, and they want to feel like a somebody, and they see that the media glorifies the killers.
Yeah.
Right? That's another big problem. The media shouldn't be glorifying the killers. Glorify the victims.
Yeah. Look how many famous serial killers we have.
Terrible. I mean, Flying Bear with another super chat contribution says Democrats want war with Russia for NATO expansion. I think you meant expansion, even if it means thermonuclear war. Well, let's be honest with this. That's the thing. You see NATO talking nowadays. They had a summit. It's like, what the hell is this group even for anymore? It's a waste of money.
And it's not just Democrats. It's Republicans, too. It's both. The neocons and the neoliberals both want war. And, the Democrats are pushing war with Russia. But of course, the neocons are over there also supplying Israel, supplying Saudi Arabia. And those are also ways into which we will get to nuclear war.
Yeah.
And we have to avoid this at all costs. And again, it's a repetition of what Kennedy was fighting back then. Because now we are once again, and Tulsi talks about this all the time, under the threat of nuclear war and nuclear disaster. And people don't know. People hear that and they're like, oh, yeah, no, it's a real threat. And every single day that goes by, anything could happen that could just, set one of these people off and bam, and that's it. And you kill millions of people. And not only that, but then you give people diseases. I mean, if you look at Hiroshima, Nagasaki, people had cancer. And for years after that.
What those bombs can do. And let's be honest, day one, she said she's going to sit down, call a summit with China and Russia, and let's get rid of these nuclear weapons. And that's what I want to hear from my president. That's the big issue. Day one. That's why I want them talking to people. That's why I want her talking to Narendra Modi. I want to go talk to Prime Minister Khan, work this stuff out between Pakistan and India. These are nuclear powers. I want her talking to Putin. I want her talking to Assad, which, by the way, the OPCW, I guess Tulsi was right all along. Huh?
Yeah.
I guess he's not the brutal dictator that gassed his own people that they disproved 3 times.
I mean, whatever, but this isn't true.
Yeah.
This isn't true. Whether people want to say he is or he isn't, is irrelevant because this isn't true. What the chemical attacks were completely manipulated.
Yeah. And let me just say this much about, yes, it's the Republicans and the Democrats, but with that super chat from Flying Bear that just said that, once again, the Democrats are supposed to be the party of the people, the anti-war people, the liberals, that by definition, the progressives, but they're not. Mm-hmm. And Obama was terrible. The one thing Obama recognized was Iran, that they were becoming the superpower of that region, and he had to do something. That's why kudos to him on his big, great policy decision to get done, which is the Iran nuclear deal. Okay. Trump fucked it up. It's stupid, whatever, because Bolton told him to. But aside from that, his Ukraine attitude, his sanctions on Russia, he was saber rattling. And that was supposed to be Barack Obama, the president for the peace, right? And we're sitting here with an impeachment process in Ukraine when shit happened on the border of Russia and what we did. And it's the worst thing that we can have. We're on their border fucking with them. That's what NATO's doing. NATO needs to be disbanded. I wish Donald Trump would have done that and be done away with. Enough. Mitch Osborne, thank you for the super chat contribution, as it is always appreciated on this couch. Right, fam? Are you guys planning on interviewing Anthony Clark running for Congress in Illinois 7? 10/10 would recommend. What's that? 10 out of 10?
Okay, Boomer.
Okay, Boomer. Yes, we sent an email out to him. I'm going to make sure I'm going to double check. I sent out about 30 emails. I'm going to send out 30 more, but he is definitely on the list. Anthony Clark.
We have a lot of people on the list.
Yeah, we have, Shahid's going to be back on.
Your favorite people.
Oh, yeah.
No, I'm saying we have all of your favorite people on the list.
And Jan 3 Sobieski said, yes, you pronounced it perfectly. Sobieski. Thank you for your explanation. And Renston, where you been? Thank you, buddy. Love you. The Pentagon recently said it was continuing forward with their tax wasting policies in Afghanistan, anti/war.com. God bless our imperial democracy. Well, Renston, the problem is that nobody's standing up for this. There's no outcry for this. Why aren't the people in the streets for this? They got signs for impeachment when we just spent trillions on the Iraq war. Killed lives.
It's the perfect distraction, you guys. We're just being manipulated. What's his name? Ajamu Baraka has been tweeting really great things on how impeachment is just, it's just a distraction, how we're being played, et cetera, and he's been doing really well in that respect.
And Flying Bear, thank you for the super chat contribution, as it is always appreciated on this couch. If you want to know about Russia or Russiagate, have Russia historian Professor Stephen F. Cohen on your show. I'd love to do that. If you have a link or an email address, let me know. If not, I'll try to find it ourselves. But yeah, I mean, that's what a lot of people were talking about when it comes to Ukraine. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? This is the place where CrowdStrike was, which was the server. Remember the servers where Donald Trump was able to go around, if they're not hiding anything, where's the servers? Why can't they see the servers? And they would ask that sociopath, Comey, did you inspect the servers? Nope. CrowdStrike did. Oh, an anti-Russian guy who owns CrowdStrike in the Ukraine. Oh, we get it, please. But yeah, I'd love to get them on there. Mocracy fam says, happy holidays, fam. Chuckle that shank on M. Matt Taibbi. I didn't see the Matt Taibbi. I was on Rolling Stone, I heard today, with Katie Halper and Shank. You know what? I'm going to send an invitation to Cenk if he wants to come on the show and sit on the couch. He wants to talk like that. And I'll let him know the number one beef I have with him is he's got to explain why he took that money. There's a lot of other things we could talk about, but you tell me, why are you going to take $20 million from the most pro-Clinton freaking CAA, Hollywood, Epstein, Harvey Weinstein, motherfucking friends, and explain why you took that money from the person who was turned down the money from MSNBC.
UTA is the agency he's referring to.
Sorry, UTA is a subdivision of CAA. It was a break-off. Thank you. So, thank you, Mocracy. Big Baby Zubas, thank you for the super chat contribution, as it is always appreciated. The couch. It says the Warsaw Pact ended. So should NATO. No shit. Thank you, Big Baby Zubas. We say this all the time. You know what I'm saying? The Warsaw Pact has been signed for years. Yet they've been spending. And here's the thing. Donald Trump's whole angle was like, well, NATO can stay. They just got to pay their fair share. No. Why the hell are we wasting any of this friggin' money? You know what I'm saying? The treaty is signed. It's not the Soviet Union anymore. They're not under attack. You know what I'm saying? And to be honest, they were a big part of ending the fascism in Europe. You might hear through our history books that the United States came in with our Captain American cave and our shield and kicked ass and cleaned everything up. No.
That's where Captain America came from.
The Nazis fighting Nazis.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But once again, they lost over 24 million people in that war. Mm-hmm. They had a lot to do with it. Germany's main forces were in the east, and they pushed them back. Not to say that I want to talk lightly on the hearts of the lives that were lost from America. I bleed for all the hearts that were, and all the lives that were lost. But to say that Russia didn't have a big part in it, it's different. And it's a new country. It's a new era. NATO should be disbanded. So,
bottom line.
So thank you very much for all you people who left those super chat contributions. Thank you to all who joined our Patreon. It's growing every day. We love you. We thank you. We try to put that money into play, fam. It is a busy season coming up.
It is.
And we want to get out on the road. We want to get microphones in people's faces, don't we, fam?
We do.
Where do we want to go?
We want to go to Iowa.
Absolutely.
We want to go to Nevada.
Yes.
We want to go to other states. Maybe
want to go to New York.
For sure. Florida.
Yeah. Hawaii. I mean, we want to go everywhere.
Everywhere.
No, I mean, I'd love to go to Hawaii. I want to see how it is during the primary with Tulsi over there.
Biased.
No, I would love to go to Vermont too as well. I want to go to Massachusetts when Elizabeth Warren loses Massachusetts. We get a microphone in her face. Oh, and it sucks that Kamala dropped out because I think she's trying to save face. She would have lost so badly in California. She would have
lost so badly here.
So badly. Johnny, got anything before we get out?
Yeah. I want to say what's up to our Twitchers.
Yes.
What's up, Twitchers?
Let's see. Feet Meet Fire. What's up? Chris X12. Jimmy Dore said, "You are not a millionaire like Howard Stern. I believe Cenk is still a millionaire."
Huh?
Yes, he is.
That's what he said in his.
Yeah. I wasn't a fan of that interview myself. I thought he was a little soft on him, but
Who said that?
They're saying that Jimmy Dore said you're not a millionaire like Stern.
Yeah,
like Howard Stern.
Cenk is a millionaire.
Who said it though? What's his name?
It was Chris X12.
Thank you, Chris X12. We love that comment. Chris X12, man.
How did you guys feel in the comments, if you guys want to write about that interview? Did you guys like that interview? Did you feel like it was a fair interview?
Jimmy Shank interview?
Or did you feel like he was a little soft? Did you feel like he came to his defense? How did you feel about that interview? Just let us know in the comments or in the chats.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's kind of confusing. It's weird. There's a lot of races going on. I guess I haven't. When I heard Cenk was running, I was kind of like, huh. I didn't have much of an opinion about it because my mind was elsewhere. But it's definitely heating up in the news, and I'm kind of curious to what's going to happen out there because once again, did we play that whole, fam? You know how I am when I voted. Last time I voted for one person because I only believe that one person earned my vote. Now, if you ask me if De Leon would have been a better senator than Dianne Feinstein, absolutely. But unless you go out there and earn my vote, that's the way I am from now on. After my Hillary Clinton vote in Florida, because Bernie Sanders was supporting her, and I was like, damn, I have to do this. And that's before I moved back to California because I was there in between. I'll never do it again. I'll never sell my soul. I'll never vote against my conscience. I will do the right thing. And De Leon, to me, when he was running, seemed like nothing more than an anti-Trump candidate, and I didn't believe or trust him. Therefore, I didn't vote for him. So even if it was Cenk running in that situation, I don't trust Cenk anymore. I don't. You know what I'm saying? I'd love for him to give me an explanation. I would have loved for Jimmy to question him on that. Why did you take that friggin' money? That changes everything. Because that was your story. I was a Republican, but now I see the light. I was going to stay on MSNBC, but I wanted to be a truth teller. So I didn't take their money. They couldn't buy me. I went and did my own thing. Well, a lot of people say that it was an opportunist, that's why he went and did his own thing. A lot of people said he was an opportunist because there wasn't a progressive representative out there in the media. So he took advantage of it. Now, if you want to debate those things, fine. Tell me why. But then tell me why you took that money and who it came from. That's the most important thing.
Yeah, I agree. Once you take the money, for me, that's it. You know what I mean? Like, for me, that's my measure of candidates. Like, if you're fine, you can have different opinions than I.
Yeah.
But if you're taking that money, or if you're being all kind of sneaky onto how you're taking that money, like Elizabeth Warren was,
yep.
I'm done with you. I'm done with you. And that's, to me, if you're going to, and be the leader of these, of Justice Democrats and all these other places, like, and then you're going to take the money. It's just kind of like, it just tarnishes everything else. And I really, nobody can take away that they were a pioneer for a lot of this, for a lot of what's happening now. Nobody's going to take that away.
Yeah. But yeah, once again, but it's a different. Like when we talk about Bernie's faults and his foreign policy, I'm still like, he started this stuff. He's great. TYT kind of has that same thing, but you know what? I don't still like them anymore. I don't trust them because they crossed that shit line.
Well, Bernie didn't take the money.
Exactly.
That's the thing. And this whole time, he never once took the money.
Never. And a lot of things changed after they took that money. It was confusing as hell. I'm like, why is TYT standing behind this Russiagate shit? Why? And then all of a sudden, you had Emma and Anna attacking Tulsi out of nowhere. You're like, wait a second. And then you see the videos of them praising them. And it was almost identical to what Joy, what's her name?
Behar.
Not Joy Behar. Joy Reid. When she was all about Bernie Sanders, when she was just like a guest coming on here and there. They were planning her every once in a while to, now she's got her own full-blown show, and Bernie Sanders and Tulsi are Russian assets. I mean, they take that money, they change.
Right.
Chris Matthews, all of them.
It's in your
Rachel
contract.
Maddow.
It's in your contract.
Well, they're not going to hire you unless you're going to play ball and spew their propaganda. And that's all they are, is propaganda.
Exactly.
How many people do we have watching over there on that Twitchy?
We got 7 viewers.
Awesome, guys. Listen, I'm so sorry we don't pay attention to you because so many times Twitch has shut us down and they try to suppress our voice. Peso doesn't like Fiorella, so therefore we don't pay attention to
That's why
his
I'm
Twitch
going to
a lot
move
of
over
times.
there and harass him.
But thank you to the whole audience watching Twitch. You guys are awesome. Raging Against the Machine. If you want to watch on another platform, try the Rockfin. ROKFIN. Like, share, subscribe to that too as well.
It's really good. It's improving, and they have an app, and they really don't pull any pranks when it comes to, you know, showing us and showing what we do. So we do appreciate them. And if you guys want to watch Pasta and Johnny go online and via Twitch, maybe they should play a few games of hockey or something.
If Johnny plays hockey against me again, maybe we can put it up there.
Johnny always beats you. What are you talking about?
Not of late. He's on a little bit of a losing streak, so he's avoiding me on the ice.
Come
You know what
on.
I'm saying? Right now, he's trying to let my stick cool down because I'm like the Islanders. My stick is very, very hot. So he's just creating a little distance.
You
and
do so much with that.
letting go with stuff like that. That's the whole thing is we don't have a lot of time for video games because we got to do this stuff. There's a lot of homework, but I want to thank you guys all for today. It was a bunch of super chat contributions, guys.
Thank
you
you
don't know
so
how much that means to us. Really, we love you all for doing that, and for the people who didn't do a super chat.
It keeps us going.
Yes,
It keeps us going.
It does.
Literally.
But let me give some shout outs to people right now. I know you guys: William Martyr, Randy, Mike Walker, Gabriel B, Rocket Fuel. We love you. Miss I.A. Justice, thank you so much. Addo Severo, and Frederick, we love you. We love your comments. I love when he gets involved. Margaret Bonnet, Upstate Raider, thank you guys for all joining on today. Johnny, do we have any super chat contributions on Nico's channel on the MCSC network? Because I haven't had it up.
Okay.
Hey, Tom Tio, you said I don't like Fiorella. I don't like you anymore, man. You've been such a jerk, dude. Really, dude. You've been such a jerk. Tom Tio's his jerk. That's what he is.
Oh, is he on the couch? See, on the couch, we can't block people from the Combo Couch page, so anybody can go
Whatever,
on there
dude. He's
and
a jerk. You're a jerk. No, seriously. I used to go out there, talk to you. We had differences of opinion, whatever. You're a jerk. If you're telling you say you don't like people and you disagree with people, they're assholes because of their opinions. That's what a jerk is. Okay, we went in and we had the MMT people on there. You don't like that? That's too bad.
Yeah.
You don't have to believe it. Don't watch it. But don't get up here and get in our faces and start talking shit. You're a jerk, Tom.
All right. All righty.
Sorry.
It's not worth your attention, so.
Yeah, thanks. Blocking your ass. No, I'm not. I'm not going to block. You can say what you want. Jerk. MCSC Network, I see one right there. It says...
Oh.
Natalie Chavez. Love you guys, too.
Thank you. Thank you.
There's one more up there, too, as well. Donald Sneed, thank you for the super chat contribution.
We talked about the California DMV issues with the registration of voters. Then Wisconsin was having their issues. Also, the caucuses are actually very complicated when it comes to Nevada. In 2016 was complicated, and counting all the people, because a caucus is you literally count the people. Like, you put them in a line and you're like 1, 2, 3, 5, 4, 5, 6 for Bernie, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for Warren, for Tulsi. Like, that's what you do at a caucus, and that can get very, very dicey. Honestly, I feel like caucuses are like,
I don't know. There's a lot of conversations there. There's a lot of things going on. They tend to be better for younger people who get more involved, whatnot. I don't know. I'd have to go see the system. I'd like to see what's going on.
Yeah,
and
that's why we want to go.
I do think it's going to be rigged again. I do. I just, we are the couch that never sleeps, Frederick. You're right. But I do think it's going to be rigged again. I'm hoping it's not. So here's the thing, right? They can't openly cheat the whole system, but they can trim votes, right? That's what everybody thinks. They can purge a couple votes here like they did in New York. They can shut down one area over here. They can get this one polling place that has a bunch of, what do you call those, provisional ballots, throw those in the trash, so they can cherry pick their cheating, right? So we're hoping that it's just so huge with our candidates that it overpowers the cheating, right?
That's what we're hoping.
That's what we're hoping for, but that's really something that's sucky to hope for in a democracy when... Democracy, and this is why my top 3 issues: election integrity, civil liberties, and then ending the wars, because you can't put the cart before the horse. If we don't have election integrity, and this is an area I wish Bernie was better on, if we don't have election integrity, we have nothing. We'll never get the representatives in there that represent our needs if we don't have election integrity. They're cheating. to put the person in who has the corporate needs in there. If we don't take care of our civil liberties, they'll control the conversation. They'll control the rhetoric. They'll get those peoples, whether they call it, John, that Cambridge Analytica called them, the persuadables. They'll find them because they're controlling the conversation through the civil liberties. Through the back doors, the keys to the kingdom, as Nico would say. If we don't have that, then we don't have anything. Because then we can't get our message out. We can't get our word out. If Fiorella has an important message to get out there to people, they'll suppress her, and they'll put the other person's message up. So that's why those issues are more important than anything to me, fam. So it's gonna be scary.
Yeah, and to me, if we don't, if people aren't gonna pay attention to anything. Any of that, if they can't feed their families, if they can't go to the hospital, if they can't live their lives, they're not going to pay attention to any of that. So I think we need to address both. But that's why I'm a socialist, because I believe that if you give people all the things they need, then they will start paying attention to everything else. So there you go. Two different points of view there.
Gabriel B says WikiLeaks released emails that were Hollywood assholes told Tulsi she was done endorsing Bernie.
Yeah,
is that the old one we talked about, the Michael Kives one? Because that's all. Yeah, I mean that was a long time ago. Yeah, I the whole stories on that. Who is Michael Kives? And the power of these people when you talk about CAA, UTA, the split off. Because the reason why WikiLeaks released that, it's kind of like they're like giving you a little clue, like, yeah, go find out the work. You guys go find out the work.
Right.
But these are important people who are telling Tulsi, So yeah, that was really, really important. It's a really big key pinch. So let's get it done.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. Johnny, anything else? Go over to our Rockfin, guys. ROKFIN. Sign up. If you got a few extra bucks, endorse us. It's like $9.99 a month. That platform is growing. It is really something special.
You can sign up for free, though.
Yeah, you can sign up for free. If you have a few extra bucks to endorse, do it. But sign up for free. We're going to do some more research on what's going on for the debates coming up on Thursday. We don't know. We'll talk about that, and we'll let you know about our coverage if and so we will have one. But other than that, thank you so much for Pasta Jardula.
And Fiorella.
Johnny Sue, who spins on those ones and twos.
You're so annoying, fam. Convo out.